Good evening, Akash. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Okay, so let's start. So,
Sure.
good evening, everyone. I am Akash Singh Rana, and I'm tagged along Amit Shah here. And today we are organizing a session of how to start life with code. I mean, we will be covering the topics of how can we code, what are the basics, how should we proceed, and what are the key points that we should always keep in mind. So this session will be taken by Saurabh sir. Saurabh sir is a faculty in Tulas Institute. He has done research work, he has done thesis work during his PhD period, and is also a IEEE member. He belongs to the SAC team, and he have also funded a project under TEQIP3 banner. So over to Saurav sir. Saurav sir, please can we have a word of you?
Good evening to everyone. This side Saurabh. Okay, so we are going to have a live session on how important is coding in today's world. Why we are saying that everyone should know what is coding and how to code. Okay, so we'll be talking about what is coding and why we want to code. That is one thing. Secondly, before we get into code, we will understand, okay, from where to start and how to end up at the coding, because before you start with the coding part you should also learn and understand why you want to code. Until unless you will know how to get all the prerequisite about a particular thing, you cannot code it. So first of all you should know how to do the prerequisite thing of for coding, and once you do the prerequisite then you can start the coding part. Okay, so Akash, I guess you can start off with the event, and then I'll later on continue with the part. Okay, Akash, are you there? Okay, I guess so. Okay, no problem. So first of all we need to know why coding is
Yeah, thank
important.
you, sir.
Okay, so
Yeah,
why
thank you,
coding
sir.
is important, that is one thing.
So,
Okay.
guys, good evening, all. I think, yeah,
Okay.
wait a minute.
Okay, Amit,
Actually,
please
sir is
continue.
not there. I'm audible.
Yes, Amit, you are audible.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So, guys, good evening. I think I'm audible right now. I hope all are good right now. So, basically, everyone's noticed that many are students say that we are not doing why we are doing coding and why we are doing this thing. Yeah, that question is good. So, can I ask to everyone over here? So, why we need a coding over here in the real life? Guys, response fast. Okay. Hello, guys. Sir, I'm audible.
Yes, Amit, you're audible.
Okay. So, guys, okay, it is for doing real life projects. Okay, for software development. Okay, what about the others? We can make new technology after learning coding. Yeah, it sounds good. But why we need that one? Why we need that coding thing? Without it, we cannot do anything. Is it? I think it's not. Is not. But when it's come to the practical things, so normal thing is that when we are training our body for our brain is training our body, like we work something, so our hand is moving, we do something, so our brain giving an instruction to the body. So like that, when we are giving the instruction to the machine, okay, so that time the coding and the programming, that's we can say that the interconnectivity between the user as well as the machine, that's a platform where you can give the instruction by giving a we say that we by giving a command or set of instruction to the that operator, and then it will convert it to that for the machine itself. So that's the main thing. If we want to do anything in a real life with the machines, so we can do with the coding. Okay, so I think many students are saying that how we start the coding in the real life. So let me share my screen and I will tell you what problems you are facing over there and how you get overcome over at that point. So if my screen is visible, then tell me in the comment section. Is it clear? Or do you want to explain?
Yes, Amit, it is clear.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Okay. Let's point of view. Okay. So let's take one example for the Python code. Okay. So yeah, everyone know that the Python is right now is the latest language, and it basically help you in many other fields. They have multi-talented. We say that the multitasking. We can do with the web development as well as the other things. In market field, we have also. So let's come to this point of view, because many students are doing with the Python itself and other things also. So let's make some thing normally .py format. I think, yeah, which why it's not working. Okay, let me remove this code. So basically, when you are doing something, guys, like normal, you have giving the value, and the value itself, you are searching something and you are checking somewhere. Like for example, right now my laptop is not working fine. Okay, so yeah, come to this point. Normally, let me take an example of this one. So input. Normally I will enter over here. So when I run the code itself, it want to give me some input. But when it's come to the another versions like 2 point and something, so you are coming with that some issues regarding that. It not showing some giving you an input or if giving some error. And basically is that many students are doing a lot of things. He was thinking about that we will do with Python, we will done with Python or something else, but he was thinking only, they are not doing. So first of all, you will made your structure of that. First of all, you made the structure how you can deal with that one. Like for example, I want to add something in Python itself, like some libraries of OpenCV. So what I will do, I will consider a structure like for first day I will do one thing. I will take a 1 hour, and in a 1 hour I will doing with the other codes, another codes, and we will take some. We can take some instruction from the your instructor, as well as you can carry on with the YouTube itself, because we have many things in the YouTube. Uh, as you know, with that, so you are facing some problem. Some students are facing problems, and they were not doing something. They will back out from there. Like for example, if I am facing some problem regarding uh, like say that when I am doing something, yeah, right now I am doing something, I am doing some code and I am stuck over there. So we think about that, can we do okay, I will do it after that. Why you are thinking like that? Try it again and again. If you got success or you got failure, but a failure is the first step for the success, because you are saying that students are saying, yeah, we do this one right now, and after that we do that one, but that's not a thing. You will made your structure, whole structure. We say that normally you schedule yourself. First of all, you will manage your time and limitation. Take you can take one thing. Yeah, right now it's not working. Yeah, you can take one thing. You can take one website over there, because in the internet itself you have many things. So you can do lot of things with internet itself, because Python have their own documentation. So you can stuck over there, you can try one step. And basic thing, we have a three rules. You can see that we have 3 or 4 rules to do some coding. When you are doing some coding, first thing is that try but not cry. That means when you are trying something, you can do uh, again and again. If you do not get success, that's a different thing, but you will do at least yourself. When you are doing something yourself, you can get more knowledge. For example, if I am trying like take one example from my side, because when I am doing the coding at time, I am stuck in anywhere. So yeah, in the college itself, when I'm doing the Python, it's Python, I do in the for loop, I got stuck. Because we are knowing that for loop is like a looping characteristic. It will take indexing over there. Okay, but in the Python itself, the concept is different, in the while loop itself as well as for loop. Okay, so that's a thing. We stuck over there, and again try. I got many things. How we can iterate object, how we can erase, how we can list it, how we can transfer, how we can swap. I'm trying again many methods and get different things. So why I'm saying that, why you are trying again? Because when you are trying something, you will get a knowledge as well as extra knowledge, as well as which you think you want, you will also get over there. But yeah, when you are falling again, do not lose your hope. Try to, we say that normally say that try to solve your own. But when you are not getting that one, you can tell to your teacher or your instructor or your moderator, because they will help you over there. Why they are at why they are giving you some knowledge regarding that. So that time you are, when you're facing some problem, first try yourself. Okay, come to the second point of view. What thing you want to do? ठीक है, नॉर्मली कह सकता हूँ मैं, हिंदी में आते हैं या अगर कंफर्टेबिलिटी है सबकी. तो let's come to the point of view. When you are doing something, you are manage your time, you manage your structure. And third thing, collect your resources, where you get the resource. Because Python itself have their own document. Everything have a own document. Train your mind according to that. Okay, third thing, when you are focusing something, do not focus about the other things. Like in Python we have 5 fields. Like for example, in machine learning, you go to machine learning, you go to AI, you go to web development, you got for the Flutter frameworks over there. But you think if I know the Python, I can do this. Yeah, you do that one, but first of all, do only one thing. Do only one thing, so which will help you at that time. Second thing is that second thing is coming over. And third and fourth thing, yeah, so third and fourth thing in real life you are facing when you are doing something. Like for example, relate that thing with your real life example. For example, for the banking, okay, banking sector. So when we are thinking of the banking sector, what we will made, yeah, as in the comment section, as well as the students say that we will deal with the coding. Okay, we will deal with code, or we will solve the real life problems. So why we are doing like that? Because we are a human, we can do anything. But when it's come to machine part, in the, we say that machine will help you to do a task as easier as possible. So that thing we want to do. So you will connect your all problems in your real life. For example, I have developed in first time in my in web application, I have developed a we say that, yeah, traffic light signal. Okay, over there, when the car is moving in that website, you can see that when the red light is coming over there, or you can make that when your red light is coming over there, your car automatically gets stopped. So it comes to your real life example. So how your machine is working, you will get from there. So when it's come to that point of view, as actually Saurabh sir is known about that, the machine learning and basic concept how I get because he was helping me a lot over there. So at that time, I will face some problems regarding the real life example. He was telling me that, oh, at the time you will do one thing, do this thing in a module part, so you can relate this is with your real examples. So at that time, when you are doing something, you can face that one in the real life also. So that's the fourth point. Okay, and the fifth point is coming your self determination over there. When how you can motivate yourself. And take one example from my side also again is that when I am training my machine for the module, at that time my machine get slip for 2 days. It not working at that time for 2 days. But I do not think about that if I do work with that or not. So again I am trying. Again it got happen over there. But yeah, try but not is my main criteria. So that time it will help me a lot. So yeah, machine is gonna every time for that sleep for 2 days. But I got after that I get many things over there, many things how I can deal with, how I can debug my problems over there. Okay, so that's a main thing. Success is a main, not a main criteria. In 11th class, I do not get many more marks, more percentage, but yeah. And in right now, the level of the in my college itself, I do not get more marks, but yeah, the knowledge is main thing over there. So that's a thing because I every time and I'm doing something, it will reflect in real life. Actually, you know about the Christian, he was over there at the time, and he was also telling that one thing. So that's why. That's why he was also saying real life examples how you can deal with that. Okay, I think Kishan is also there in the chat. I think. Okay, so that's the main thing. How you can deal with your real examples. I think, sorry, sir. Yeah,
Yes, Amit.
yeah, sir. Can you add up something from your side?
Sure, sure, sure. Why not? First of all, once again, good evening to all of you. As Amit has told a lot of thing about coding, okay, but let me start with the very basic thing. The first thing is what is literacy? In a normal uh, world, if a person can read and write, he is literate. But if we talk about the 21st century, if a person doesn't know how to code, and if a person doesn't have any information how to code, then he is not literate. We are living in a era where you need to know each and everything so that someone is not making a fool of you. Okay, we hear a lot that I have got a call and there is some certain kind of cyber crime is going on. Why is it happening? Due to lack of information. Once and for all, we have the basic information, we will automatically tackle all the things. But until and unless we have the information, but if we are not aware of the things, then obviously anyone can make a fool of us. Okay, so that's a different thing. That's a way different story. So we will first understand how we can be literate in 21st century. If we talk about the NEP, National Education Policy, okay, 2020, everyone might have heard of it. It clearly states that a student who's studying in school, he should also learn coding. Why our government is emphasizing on learning coding? Can anyone tell me? If anyone can speak up or write in the chat box. Amit, please tell me if someone has given the answer. Why our government is asking us to learn coding from the very beginning of our schooling? Why? Can anyone answer? Okay. If you have answered, that's great. If not, I will tell you. See, starting from our day when we start, okay, we are woke up by a mobile phone. It has an alarm. When we go to the sleep, okay, before going to the sleep, we have our mobile phone or a laptop in our hand. Either we see a movie, either we are going to Instagram or doing Twitter things and other things. Okay, so we are almost almost everywhere we are surrounded by the coding. We are using Facebook, we're using Instagram, we have Twitter, we have got Gmail, Hotmail. Everything is going on through the coding. We are using internet 24/7. If you're even downloading something, then also there is a code which is working at the back end of your system. So if a person who doesn't know anything about the code, how can you learn and understand that yes, this is how I can save myself, or this is how I can work? That is one thing. Okay, so let's see what are the prerequisite before we start coding. Amit has told you a lot of things about coding, but let me tell you what are the prerequisite before you get into coding. Before you get into coding, you should learn what is an algorithm, what is a pseudocode, what is a flowchart. These are three main things that comes way before you start coding. Okay, let me ask you a simple question. You don't need to answer me, I'll be giving you the answer, but you can keep the answers to yourself. If you want to go for a movie, do you always create a blueprint in your mind? Like, okay, I'll get free from my office or college or from tuitions at 6:30. Then I will look for the seats in a particular theater where I can go. Okay, if it's 6:30, then I will look for a movie which is around 7:30 or 7, so that I can reach there on time and I can see the movie. Okay, then after seeing the movie, I have to come back. So this is the whole thing that we go through and think, okay, I'll go to the movie at 7. The movie is of around roughly around 2 or 2.5 hours, and I'll be back at my home by 9:30 or 10. So it is fine. Okay, so this is the thing that we usually think about when we go to a movie or any place else. Okay, even though if we make a plan to go to a particular place, okay, what we do, we always create certain kind of okay. Okay, so when we even I was saying that whenever we go for a trip with our friends, then we see how many people are there, how we are going by a car or maybe by bikes or scooties. So we do all the math and what all things we require before we go over there. How will we going over there? If we'll be staying, where will be staying? A lot of things. So coding is nothing but whatever you do in your real life. If you can relate your real life with the coding, it will be very much easier. But if you cannot relate anything which goes on in your real life with the coding which is inside your system, then you'll not learn anything. See, if you're a computer science student, you should have very good logics. It doesn't matter if you know how to code, but what is important is you should know what is logic, how you can create a logic. Once you know how to create a logic, you can code in any language you want, because you know if this is the first step, what would be the next step, then what would be the next step, and so on till I get to the end. Okay, so for example, if I'll take a very small example of a Armstrong number, I guess everyone knows what is an Armstrong number. Okay, so if I talk about Armstrong number, it is a number. If I divide the numbers, okay, let's talk about 153. Okay, so our Armstrong number is 1 cube plus 5 cube plus 3 cube. So if I will add 1 cube plus 5 cube plus 3 cube, it will give me, if it gives me 153 again, then it is an Armstrong number. If it doesn't give me 153 by adding and cubing the things, then it is not an Armstrong number. I guess everyone has done the Armstrong number. Okay, if I talk about the prime numbers, what we do, we have a number n, and what we do, we know that a prime number, I'm talking about mathematics. Okay, what we do, if a number is divisible by 1 or itself, then it is a prime number, that we know. But if I need to write a code, then what would I do? I need to divide all the numbers between 1 and the number which is n. Okay, let's say the number is 97. Okay, so what I need to do, I can divide it with by 1 and I can divide it with 97. That is I know, but I don't know the set of the numbers that can divide 97. So what I will do, I need to divide each and every number one by one with 97. Okay, if I'll do it manually, it is very difficult. But if I'll code it, then it is much easier. How it is easier? I know that I will start from n minus, sorry, I'll start with 2 and I will end at n minus 1. These are the numbers that should be dividing the value n, that is 97. If it gets divided with the, if any number between 1 and 97 divides the value 97, that then at that point of time it is not prime number, otherwise it is prime number. Okay, I guess everyone is following. Okay, so it is a very simple logic that we usually do. Okay, so first of all, we'll understand what is a flowchart. A flowchart tells you about from where to start, what will be the inputs, what is the processing in between, and what will be the output, and then we will stop. That is the work of a flowchart. How the data is flowing from the starting point to the end point. That is the input and the output. That is your flowchart. Once you create a flowchart, I guess since everyone is from the engineering background, everyone would be knowing what is a flowchart. Flowchart consists of different kind of uh, uh, let me say uh, notations. Okay, we have ellipse or circle for start and ending. We have parallelogram. Okay, we have rectangle for processing and then taking inputs and other things. We have arrows from moving from one point to the another point. So this comprises of your flowchart. If it after creating a flowchart, the next step towards coding is your algorithm. Now, what is an algorithm? Algorithm is basically writing each step in simple basic English or in any natural language you want to write. Natural language is in any language in which we are talking. It can be English, it can be Hindi, it can be any language, any even if it is your mother tongue like Hindi, Marathi, Tamil, any language, so that you can write it in very simple layman terms. When you start adding technicalities inside the algorithm, then it becomes your pseudocode. And that pseudocode can be directly taken and added to the coding area so that you can directly put on the logical part and you can get the result. So this is the journey to write a code. Flowchart, then the algorithm, then the pseudocode, and at the end, the code. This is the thing. These are the things that you need to follow. What we do, what mistake we generally do. We directly start with the coding part. We don't start with the flowchart. We think it is not necessary. But it is very important. Okay, there is a term, a few might have heard of it, that is software development life cycle. But even if you're creating a very small program, a single page program, then also you need to follow certain steps. Software development life cycle, what it is, it basically tells you how you can create a software. Software is a combination of a lot of programs. It is a very big term. We'll not discuss it right now. We'll be sticking to coding only. So that is important, that you should learn how to create a flowchart. Once you will create a flowchart, you will be clear. You will be rational. When you'll be creating the flowchart, you'll be rational. Why you'll be rational? Because you'll be knowing that this is the starting point. These are my inputs. These inputs will be used in the processing part. That processing part will give me this output, and this output can be converted into the favorable output that I require. This is the flow chart. Once the flow chart is ready, you can use the flow chart and write the algorithm in simple English. After creating the algorithm, you can use flowchart and algorithm to create the pseudocode, and at the end you can create the coding part. Okay, so any questions that you want to ask? Amit, please help me if there are any questions. If anyone wants to ask me anything, they can ask.
Okay, sir. Guys, if you have any questions regarding coding and how you can deal with that, you can ask right now.
Any questions, Amit?
Yeah, guys, another no, actually, sir, there's a lagging between the YouTube as well as the stream live stream, no? For 20 seconds.
Okay.
So it will go to the late.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, guys, another thing over there, we have updated in the description box. We have a link over the feedback form. You can give your feedback over there. And after that, when you give the feedback, that will count it as your attendance link. and we provide you a certificate over there with the grown ID as well as the dot question mark, as you know about that. So guys, please fill with that one.
So if you have any questions, please ask. If not, then we'll continue with the session.
Yes, I think, sir, they have no questions regarding that.
Okay, okay, that's great. That's great. Okay, so then we will talk about other things. Once you have created the flowchart, then the algorithm, then your pseudocode, and at last your coding. This is the other thing. This is one thing. Okay, now basically writing a program will cover all these things. But what about a project? How can you create a project? If I talk about my project that I did my training at DRDO, that is SASE and Chandigarh. Okay, so there my work was to collect all the data and disseminate all the data that is being sent by the satellite to all the scientists. That is the work that was given to me. So how exactly do you think the things can be done? How can I collect all the data? How can I disseminate all the data to the scientists? Okay, so the first thing and the foremost thing is collection of the data. Now, why data is important? Data is the new currency. Why? If you have the data, you have the information. If you don't have the data, then you don't have the information. So in data, the importance of data is and not on the top priority. Okay, so whenever you are working, you require a lot of data. That data can be stored in a database or anywhere in any manner you want to save it. So it can be organized and it can be unorganized. It basically depends how you want to save that particular data. After saving that data, you should know how can you convert that raw data into the useful format, because raw data will give you a lot of information. Okay, but you'll be requiring only the specific information from that raw data. Let's take an example. If uh, let's say I want to work on a data which has all the information of the students, but from that whole data I only require the marks. Okay, let's talk about a very simple scenario that I'm working on the student information suite, where I require students numbers of particular examinations so that I can segregate the data or segregate the students depending upon their marks that they have got or scored. Okay, so what I'll do, if I'll talk about the data, I will be getting the name of the student, roll number of the student, student ID, their personal information like their phone number, their address, and parents' contact numbers, their father name, their mother's name, their date of birth. A lot of data I'll be getting. Along with the data, I'll also be getting the current semester's marks and the previous semester marks. Okay, so I just require the marks that the student has scored in the previous examinations and the current examinations. So I need to extract all the important information from that particular data. Okay, so after I will get the data, now the thing is, how can I get the data? I can use SQL, I can use Oracle, I can use any database related thing to extract or write a query and get the information from that. Okay, so you can do that. That is one thing. The next thing is, after you get the required information, you need to do a lot of mathematical part. Like, if I want, first of all, I need to get the total marks of the student for a particular semester. After I get the total marks, okay, how will we deal with the errors? That is first question. Okay, how can we deal with the errors? First thing is, This, as I have told you, that we need to work with the flowchart first of all. Then we will go to the next part, that is our algorithm. These are the two basic things where you can exactly find where you are getting the error. Because if you have written the logic properly, then you'll not be getting the error. Okay, there are two things. One thing is semantic error. Second thing is your syntactic error. Well, now what is semantic error? Semantic error is your logic. If you have written the wrong logic, then you will be getting the output in the wrong manner. For example, I want to run a particular code, let's say for 10 times. Let's talk about loops. Okay, I want to run a particular code for 10 times. I want to print my name for 10 times. So the logic would be, I'll start with 0 and I will end at 9. So my name will get printed 10 times. But if I will take the logic in the wrong manner, if I'll write the logic in the wrong manner, I'll say that if the value of I is greater than 0, the loop will work on and on and on. So it will never stop because the I will continuously be incrementing every time. So you will not be able to find the error. So that is the one error that you will be facing. That is the logical error, the semantic error. Second thing is your syntactic error. That is your you have written the code in the wrong format that is not acceptable by the compiler or the interpreter of your system. Okay, that is one thing. So if you are dealing with a logical error, that means you have written the wrong logic. But if you are dealing with a error which is your syntactic error, that is you have not written the correct syntax, then that is the second error. Okay, so have I made this clear? Basically, there are two types of things: syntactic and semantic. Syntax means your rational and the logical part, and syntax means your particular format in which you need to write the particular code. Like if I talk about for loop in C, it is written in a different manner. Similarly, if I talk about the for loop in Python, it is written in a different manner. So we need to know in which format we need to write the for loop where. Okay. Okay. Any other questions except the error? Okay, so I was talking about the data. Okay, once I have got the whole data, I need to extract the important data. What are the important data for me? Student roll number, student ID, student name, and the marks he or she has secured in the current semester or the previous semesters. These are the information that I require. So I will collect all that data and I will save it to myself. Okay, then from that data I will be doing a lot of mathematics. First of all, I need to add all the semester marks. If I talk about a particular semester, you have around 5 or 6 subjects and few practicals. So I will be adding all the marks that you have secured by applying a particular query, that is for sum. Okay, after I get the whole data, after I will get the sum output of your numbers, then I can find out the percentage. Depending upon the percentage, I can sort your details. Once I have sorted your details, I can rank you according to the marks that you have secured in each and every semester. Okay, so basically, if we talk about a very big project, we need to cut down that project into smaller modules. Once you will be cutting down that big module into smaller modules, it will be very much easier for you to work. If I talk about a very simple thing, everyone has used a calculator. Okay, now how calculator works? It has certain operands and operators. Operands is your numbers and operators are your addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, equal to, cos, sign, and other things. Okay, so we require numbers and certain kind of operators so that we can operate on them. Okay, so if we talk about our computer system only, it has a simple basic calculator and a scientific calculator. So as a whole, we talk about it as a calculator. But when we talk about scientific calculator, the calculations over there are a bit tricky and complex. If we talk about simple calculation, the calculations over there are simple, and you basically use board mass over there. So if we are creating a calculator, we can divide the whole thing into two parts, that is the basic simple calculator and the scientific calculator, so that we can easily work on one module at one time. Once we are done with the one module, we can start working with the second module. This is the second thing. I can do that, but right now I don't have time, and even though I'm not on my system, that I usually use for coding. So I won't be able to do that. Otherwise, I would have done that. Okay, due to this COVID, I have to travel to my grandparents. So that's why I'm over here without my sister. So I cannot, right now, I cannot do that, but I can explain it with the help of particular examples. Okay, like I have given you example for calculator. Okay, I can give you another example. Okay, Ritik. Uh, if I talk about, okay, I'll give you another example. Okay, you all have read about your merge sort. Is clear? I guess you all have heard about merge sort. What we usually do in that, we do the sorting part, but how we do it? We have certain input numbers. Okay, depending upon those input numbers, we first of all we divide the whole data into two different parts. Okay, let's suppose that I want to sort a total number of 10 elements. Okay, so I will, let's take 11. Okay, so I will divide it in two parts. In the first part, I will be getting 5 elements. In the second part, I'll be having 6 elements. Okay, so I will further divide those 5 into 2 and 3, and then further divide into 1, 1, 2, 1, and 1. Okay, we will divide the numbers until we will get the unit values, until we will get the unit elements, and then we will start merging them and sorting. So this is how your module can be understood. You can divide a very big problem into simple unit problems. You can solve them and start merging them. And at last, after merging all the smaller problems, you'll be getting the solution for the larger problem. I hope everyone has understood this part. Any other questions? Okay. So the agenda was why we require coding. I have already told you that coding is the new literacy. Okay. Even if you are from engineering background, then also you need to understand. Okay, sometimes I got library errors. If you are dealing with the library errors, that means that you need to upgrade your libraries. First thing, there are certain errors that is your DLL error. So you need to rectify that part also. Because sometimes what happens is our system doesn't have all the prerequisite information or prerequisite data. Okay, so until unless you have all the prerequisite data, there will always be certain kind of error, that is your library error. You can rectify that by upgrading your system or the software again and again. Okay, if I talk about your Python, okay, what happens in Python? If your library is not up to date and you're writing a particular code or a function that is working on the latest upgrade, then you will be getting certain kind of library error. So you need to upgrade that. Or sometimes what happens is our system goes through a lot of wear and tear. Okay, so we also need to take care of that, so that if any kind of file is missing or if any kind of file is not working properly, we need to again download it from Microsoft and or any other vendor that is providing us, and we can deal with the problem. Okay, Mukul. Okay. Okay, so I was telling about that part. Okay, yeah, coding. Yeah, so coding, I was saying that sometimes with the technology, which one? Okay, see, the thing is, I can answer you with this very small example. I have taught software engineering. Okay, so in software engineering, what happens is, or yeah, in software engineering, what happens is, whenever a team starts working, okay, they need to take a decision which particular SDLC they need to use. And how can they think that, oh, okay, I will use this particular SDLC, like I will be using waterfall model, or I will be using iterative waterfall model, or I'll be using evolutionary model, RAD model, or any other kind of model. How they come to a conclusion that yes, I will be working on this particular model? By brainstorming, by forming particular kind of questionnaire, or by doing the rational or asking the rational questions within the team. Okay, so if you're confused with the technology, which technology you need to use or on which language you need to work, so you need to understand what exactly is your input and how you're getting the output. So in between you'll be requiring the technology, because you'll be requiring certain kind of input. Depending upon that particular input, okay, your process will be taken care of, and at last you'll be getting the output. Okay, so if you will say that I want to create an artificially intelligent system, okay, then I guess you should use either Prolog or maybe Python or maybe R language also. Okay, for certain areas, for certain kind of difficult, if we talk about complex calculations, if you need to do that with the perceptron part, or we can use simply the SCI learn kit for Python, and we can deal with all the things. So basically, you need to understand what what is my problem and which libraries I require to solve a particular problem. Okay, Mukul, that is the one thing. Okay, so I was telling you that even if you're from engineering background, so while developing any product with SDLC is preferred. Actually, the thing is that you have asked a very good question, but the thing is, when a team starts working with any of the SDLC, it is basically the team's perspective which SDLC they're going to use. Say if I talk about if I talk about today's scenario, the most utilized SDLC is either agile methodology or your DevOps. Okay, either you can use DevOps or you can use agile. Agile is a combination of a lot of methodologies, okay, that you can utilize it. But which agile methodology you need to use, that basically depends upon your system that you are going to prepare. If you're going to create a very if you're going to create the software at a very fast rate, then you'll be requiring a different agile methodology. If you have a lot of time, it is a very big project, then the agile methodology will be different. So it basically depends upon that. If there are certain kind of risk involved, there will be certain kind of different SDLC that you'll be using. Okay, so that's the thing. Because SDLC, if I talk about basic SDLC, we have certain things. The first and the foremost thing in SDLC is your problem statement. If you know your problem statement, you can start working. After getting the problem statement, you need to work upon the feasibility study, that am I or my team is able to complete the particular project, or are we in a situation, or at a particular instance we know how to create that thing or not. That is a feasibility study. And if there is a particular product which is similar to what we are working on, is present in the market, is that product different from our product which we are creating? How it is different from that particular product? See, if we talk about some basic a laptop only, there are a lot of companies that are providing you laptop, but we usually go for certain laptops only. Why? Because it suits our requirements. If it suits our requirements, if it is fine. If it doesn't suits our requirement, we will not go for it. Okay, every person, like I use Dell or HP. Okay, some other person will be using Compaq, some other person will be using MSI, someone will be using Alienware or maybe Apple. Okay, it basically depends what suits your profile and what kind of work you will be working on, so that it will help you in doing that particular work. Okay, so that's your feasibility study. After going through this feasibility study, there is another step, that is your designing part. We'll start designing the things, like activity diagram is there, class diagrams are there, DFDs are there, ER diagrams are there. After creating the designing part, we'll start working with the implementation and the coding part. After you're done with the coding, you'll be working on the testing. It can be white box testing, it can be black box testing, integration testing would be there, unit testing would be there, stress testing would be there. If you're working on a particular if you're working on a particular server which will be handling a lot of queries, then also you need to test what is the maximum load that your server will be taking. There are a lot of things that will be going on. Okay, and at last there will be maintenance and further development. Okay, so it basically depends upon that. Okay, so that was all about SDLC. Okay, now if I talk about current scenario, okay, we have either you're a student of engineering, commerce, that is the banking sector, or you are a medical student also, either you're into forensics or you're into surgery or you're into any other kind of thing, either you're into medicines also, then also you need to learn how to work with the machinery and the coding part, because a doctor knows how exactly your medicine will work on a particular person or a particular integer. Okay, so that information can only be given by an expert, that is a doctor. So once and for all, he will give you the information, an engineer, okay, or a coder. Then only a coder will help a doctor, or a doctor will help in return that particular engineer to develop a particular kind of product, so that the doctor or a team of doctor can utilize that particular product. Okay, so in every field there is system, there is computer, there is coding. Okay, everywhere you go, it is coding. Whatever you do, there is coding. Even if I talk about starting from your mobile phones to your cars, even today, if I talk about today's two-wheelers technology also, it also has a GPU. It checks where the system is not working fine, and it tells you that right now the battery is not working, or brakes are not working, or ABS is not working fine. Certain kind of things are there, like we used to have earlier in our cars. The same thing we are having with our latest two-wheeler technology also. Okay, so that's all from my side. If you have any other questions, you can ask. Okay, and now I will hand over the presentation to Amit. He can take care of all the things. And if you have any questions, please ask.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Amit.
Thank you, sir, for I think you giving the much detail about that. And if any have any questions, you can ask regarding that. And yeah, guys, we have a feedback form over the chat box. You can fill with that. And as normal thing, I will add up something. As actually, sir have said that how you can deal with that the starting part. Yeah, I have to tell you that how you can start with that, and sir will tell you how you can begin with the coding. Okay, and another thing is that if you have any query regarding that, you can ask with Saurabh sir. I will give the will connect it with you. If you have query, you can ask with me, and I will give it to the Gmail ID for the sir. You can get the everything over there. If you have any query right now, you can ask, and I think we will end up with this one if you have no query.
Okay, I guess there are no queries. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.